Good afternoon, and welcome to another round of Read Aloud Fun with Miss Waymyers. Of course, I am Miss Waymyers, and while we are giving our viewers a few moments to join us, we are going to talk about. Well, let me go ahead and tell you the name of the book for this week. For this Saturday, is called The Bad Seed. The Bad Seed. So, as we are reading The Bad Seed, I want you to think about some character traits of the character in the story. And one way, if you're doing this with your kids at home, or if you are an educator, you're thinking about doing this in your class, you can have them in their little notebook uh, draw a picture of the bad seed. It's not hard. If you need another look at the bad seed, it is literally a seed. So what you can do is they don't have to be great artists because it's basically kind of like an oval. He's got that little divot in his head. And then he's got little arms are easy because they're just like little sticks. His little fingers, his little legs. Pull the camera down just a little bit so you can see. And then he has these really heavy eyebrows. He's got his. Look up and make the eyes mad with it. Or try. His little smile. And then as they listen to the story, they can write words around the seed to talk about his character. So when we're talking about describing his character, we're not talking about them describing what he looks like, but more of his personality, how he um, acts, the things that he does throughout the story. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. We're talking about character traits. So I have it going across the bottom of the screen so you can just remember to do that. And then at the end of the book, we will do a quick, I'll show you a quick craft you can do with your kids at home or in your classroom if you so desire. I'll put up, like I did the last time, some questions that you can ask uh, your child or student with the book to gauge their understanding and the lesson behind the story. So we're about 3 minutes in. Let's go ahead and let's get started with The Bad Seed. Take this cover off here for a second. The Bad Seed, and it is written by Drury John, and Pete Oswald does the illustrations. I'm a bad seed. A bad seed. Oh, yeah, it's true. The other seeds, they look at me and they say, that seed is so bad. When they think I'm not listening, they mumble. There goes a bad seed. but I can hear them. I have good hearing for a seed. How bad am I? You really want to know? Well, I never put things back where they belong. I'm late to everything. I tell long jokes with no punchlines. I never wash my hands or my feet. I lie about pointless stuff. I cut in line every time. I stare at everybody. I glare at everybody. I finish other people's sentences and I never listen. And I do lots of other bad things too. Know why? Because I'm a bad seed. A bad seed. I just can't help it. Sure, I wasn't always this bad. I was born a humble seed on a simple sunflower in an unremarkable field. I had a big family, seeds everywhere. We found ways of having fun. We were close. But then the petals dropped and the flower drooped. It's kind of a blur. I remember a bag. Everything went dark. And then a giant. I thought I was a goner. I thought I was done for. I screamed and I hollered. But I was spit out at the last possible second. I flew through the air and I landed under the bleachers, with a huge thud. When I woke up, it was dark outside. A wad of gum had softened my fall. I felt okay, but something had changed in me. I become a different seed entirely. I'd become a bad seed. A bad seed. That's right. I stopped smiling. I kept myself. I kept to myself. I drifted. I was friend to nobody and bad to everybody. I was lost on purpose. I lived in a soda can. I didn't care, and it suited me. Until recently, I've made a big decision. I've decided I don't want to be a bad seed anymore. I'm ready to be happy. It's hard to be good when you're used to being bad, but I'm trying. I'm taking it one day at a time. Sure, I still forget to listen. I still show up late, and I still talk during movies, and I do all kinds of other bad stuff. But I also say thank you, and I say please, and I smile, and I hold doors open for people. Not always, but sometimes. And even though I still feel bad sometimes, I also feel kind of good. It's sort of a mix. All I can do is keep trying and keep thinking. Maybe I'm not such a bad seed after all. Hey, look, there goes that bad seed. Actually, he's not all that bad anymore. I heard that. The end. Okay, so the seed goes through some changes from the beginning to the end of the story. Okay, so as we get ready to bring this to the end, let's talk about some other questions that um, you should be able to answer at the end of the story, or if you're a teacher or a parent, that you could ask. So one is, what does the bad seed mean when he says, I'm taking it one step at a time? Why do some seeds still call him bad? What could other seeds have done differently? In other words, when he started misbehaving and going through some things, what could they have done to maybe help the seed along the way? Was the bad seed really bad? Explain your thoughts. Do you think the bad seed will always be judged negatively by some of the other seeds? Why or why not? What other stories or real life situations does the story, or in other words, does the bad seed story remind you of? Excuse me. Okay. So those are just a few things that you could ask your students. Remember, before we started reading, we drew our seed, and then I said that we could, as the story was going along, they could think of character traits to write around the seed. So, for instance, just to recap, in the beginning of the story, the seed was unhappy, but by the end of the story, he's actually happy. There are parts in the story where the seed is actually extremely rude, okay? And then he becomes kind and all of these different things. So all of these are things that the bad seed went through in the story. Now, another thing that I said that I would share along with the questions before we came to an end was a possible craft that you could do. So I found these little wooden pieces at Hobby Lobby, and in there they're just pieces left over um, from wood things that they've cut. And so what you could do is in them there are some little pieces that look sort of like, oops, sorry about that, the bad seed. So you could take this, get some little craft paints, and they actually could create their own bad seed. Okay. So that's just another thought of what you could do with this story. So I hope that you enjoyed the story, The Bad Seed. I hope you can see where it relates to real life and the story of the seed. And we will be back on Tuesday evening at 6 o'clock for a brand new read aloud. Until then, ta ta for now.